feminist today and expect...
I am not a feminist. I am not a feminist at all. But I will say a man should fucking pay on a first date and all the rest of the day. But it's a man's job. We birth babies. You know what it does to us? Fuck that. You should pay for fucking dinner.
Liberal girls, if you want to be oppressed so bad, go ahead and move to the Middle East. If you love socialism so much, go move to Venezuela. If you love communism, go to China. Let's see how you like it. But go ahead and get the fuck out of here before you ruin our country too. Thanks, babe.
The first reason I'm no longer a feminist is because I realized I was using feminism pretty much as a cover-up for how much I despised the male species. I don't feel that way now, but at the time, I had a lot of bitterness towards men. So I was kind of using feminism as a way to be rebellious. I didn't realize this until I started to observe other women who claimed to be feminists. And I noticed their attitude towards men. And I was like, seems like it's a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of resentment. I don't know if you are really being a feminist for the right reasons.
Russian women don't need feminism. They don't like it, and feminist movement will never spread in Russia, and let me explain you why. So the basics of feminism is women going against men, but in Russia we already have a shortage of men. Believe me or not, my generation is still recovering after World War II, when all the men left and all the women were left behind with the hard work, working at the factories, raising kids, standing in line for hours for basic essentials like food, while women in America were basically locked up at the house as housewives. So now imagine that all the kids, especially boys, that was raised by single mothers, what kind of examples they had in front of them? That the mother have to work, after that come home and take care of kids, husbands. That's why in Russia we have such a problem with the aggressive and demanding men that want women not only go to work, but come home after work and take care of kids and man itself. And now you have the main idea of feminism that women have to work even more. But Russian women want nothing more than a caring husband, providing for the family, helping with chores and raising their kids, which is rarity for Russia. Plus, we still have a shortage of men. For every man, there are 3 to 5 women. And because of our political situation right now, we are still losing men. So that's why instead of women against men movement, we have women coming together to support and save the men that we have. Today, mothers of the soldiers, sisters, wives of the soldiers are main women, and they are protected by the government. In 2018, some activists and bloggers, more of my generation, started pushing this movement into mass. But as you can guess, they got shut down pretty quickly by the government. And now, not even women needed in our country.
Look around. You will see post after post of men being held accountable and villainized, but you won't see the same about women. There is enough room in this world for both genders to have allies and support. Women are not the only victims. Men are victims too. Not all men are bad. Not all men are trash. It's completely fine to support men. Doesn't mean that you don't support women. But men deserve to have women in their corner as well.
I don't think modern day feminists want equality between men and women. I think they want to be men. They don't take any pride in being feminine. They grow their armpit hair out. They say we need to bring down the patriarchy. But who is the patriarchy? Do you think it's men who set all these standards for women to uphold in the beauty world? You're forgetting that other women set the standards too. As a woman, I think armpit hair on women is disgusting and unhygienic. I'm a woman setting that beauty standard, not a man. I also think a woman should pride herself on being a good mother and taking care of her family in the home. Not to say that you can't have a job at the same time, but no one can do what a mother can do, and you should be proud of that, not want to destroy that. Men and women are not the same, and that's beautiful. I'm proud to be a woman. I don't want to be a man. So on behalf of all women who like being women, can you guys stop trying to make us men?
The internalized misogyny. Is it because I don't support when women use their mouths and objectify themselves to climb their way up? Is it because I believe that women have brains and can actually do better? Or is it because I think that we could do a lot better as women than to have this person as vice president? I don't know. Maybe that is misogyny.
Yeah, so feminists will leave me comments saying, as a woman, as a feminist, we don't claim you. As if I want to be claimed by some miserable, bitter, hairy armpitted feminist. Yeah, no thank you, but we all know that I'm an object, and who gets to claim me? A man, of course, who else?
Created a generation of narcissistic women. And what's happened is the rise of social media and the rise of online dating and the rise of feminism has taught women that they are not to blame for any poor choices. Every poor choice is glamorized. So if you want to be a sex worker, it's great. If you want to post in bikini pictures online, it's fine. If you want to be in with it, every poor choice is glamorized, and every internal reflection is seen as gaslighting yourself. So they've even got terms for internal reflection to prevent it happening. And so what will happen is they are trained to not reflect on themselves because we've been told we've been oppressed for so many years. Now it's time to make sure we project. And so we don't take any accountability. And as a result, when we get into relationships, if we don't feel completely soothed all the time, he must be a narcissist. He must be a manipulator. He must be gaslighting. He, rather than I.
In 2024, TikTok reigns as the top app, and it's no secret that it's owned by the communist Chinese government. This app, while promoting some of the most controversial ideas in the West like feminism, is regulated differently in China. There, the government has banned media and apps from depicting feminist or beta male narratives and actively promotes traditional masculinity. This stark contrast explains why many voices challenging feminism on the platform face bans or have their content deleted for hate speech. Here are some individuals who are standing up against the prevailing narrative, and as a bonus, they do so with impressive style. Speaking of looking good, it's clear that many feminists harbor a strong dislike for attractive women. The reason? Beautiful women often find it easier to secure long-term relationships, while these feminists complain about men being sexist. For not wanting to date someone who doesn't meet their standards of femininity. By the way, this influencer isn't just about looks, she's also a talented college golf player. So she's got both beauty and skill on her side.
My body, my choice. That sounds great. Is it cool if I get tan this summer, though? Oh, okay. Can I wear braids? Are braids okay? No? No. What about this mask that I'm forced to wear on my body? Is that, oh, that's not my choice? Okay. So, very selective to only killing human beings. Gotcha.
When she questioned getting tans, it's a reflection of how feminists now argue that white people are culturally appropriating by getting a tan. The same applies to braids, which have deep Celtic roots, but feminists who champion my body, my choice, seem to overlook history and seek to control others if something offends them. Moreover, it's ironic how the feminists who advocate for my body, my choice, were the most vocal supporters of the pandemic restrictions, despite being among the largest groups insisting on their own freedom while mandating others to wear masks and stay indoors.
Thing is, I think there is a gender war going on right now. Feminism, third wave feminism, is killing this country. It is taught to avoid saying brainwashed all women to hate men and to fear men. Because at the end of the day, guess what? Capital profits off of my fear. And as a woman, if I fear men, or if I'm afraid, period, then they can profit off of that. There's a gender war because men are the underdogs right now. And I'm not sure if anybody else is seeing this, but men are the ones being told, you're evil, you're bad, you're feared, you're wrong, everything you do is wrong. Go and make money, or don't. We don't care because we don't care about you. And don't show any emotion. The problem is that the majority of young men in the world today are completely invisible. And social media has made them that way. For example, on Instagram, you have extremely beautiful women profiting, and that's great. But the only men who have followers on social media are men with status, men with expensive toys, cars, jets, houses, technology, men who are musicians, who are famous and already rich. Guys, but if you were a normal dude, you don't really exist in the social media world. It's very difficult to get a following. Nobody replies to your DMs, and you don't really matter. You don't have access to women, and it's very difficult to get recognition for your existence. And women are making a rise to the top. Society has over-feminized everything so much, and women are included all the time, which is fabulous, but people don't even realize that we don't have to tear men down to include women. Right, so why is there so much talk about male privilege? Good question. Well, because for the longest time, it was kind of right. You know, the feminist movement first started and we dealt with that. But now the roles are reversed. Women are the ones with privilege. We've been seeing more women in films, in business, and more women in power, which is great. The amounts of job listings that I've seen, though, that specifically ask for women only is redonkulous. Our entire effort to hire more women we've excluded men. But no one is ready to hear that, so.
It's clear that there's been a concerted effort to undermine men, disguised for a long time as a quest for equality. Despite many women being content with traditional roles like raising a family, society has increasingly targeted men, all in the name of achieving equality. Job listings now blatantly favor women, which is illegal, yet most attorney generals turn a blind eye due to fear of feminist backlash.
Is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure?
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. It is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude.
George Lucas would never. You want to know the problem with all of these new era Star Wars female directors? It fails to account for the fact that you already had strong female characters everywhere in Star Wars, and men and women alike loved them. Princess Leia, iconic. Ahsoka Tano, legend. Legend. Ahsoka Tano doesn't need to make men feel uncomfortable. She's just a badass by herself. That's it. No other agenda or ulterior motive. Padme, hello. Didn't make men feel uncomfortable, except maybe a sexual awakening because she was freaking gorgeous, but also a badass. I don't understand the angle, the MO that Disney is trying to go for here, because A, you're not going to retain your original audience for Star Wars, but B, who is going to watch this garbage?
It seems like feminists are increasingly trying to rewrite established stories to fit their narratives rather than creating their own original content. Disney's recent attempts at this, like the latest film that looks more like a personal vendetta than a genuine effort to make a good movie, reflect a broader trend. It appears the director's focus might be more on making a statement against men who've rejected her rather than crafting a quality film. As a result, many are turned off and less likely to watch, potentially costing Disney a significant tax write-off.
Okay, I just want to point out that there is nothing wrong with being dependent on someone you love for something. Because the fact of the matter is that as human beings, we can't do it all on our own. I don't care how much of a baddie you think you are and how independent you may be, you are dependent on someone for something. Right now in this phase of my life, I am mostly dependent on my husband for finances, and my husband is mostly dependent on me to take care of our children, and we're both dependent on God to give us life every day. We work together and depend on each other for different things, and in doing so we are able to create a life that we wouldn't be able to have on our own. And that is what marriage is, and that is what family is, and it is wonderful, and it's not something to be embarrassed of or to be ashamed of. It doesn't make you weak. I'm so happy that I have someone that I can count on, someone who can help me and someone who I can help, and we can get through life together. There's nothing weak and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
All right, queens, you guys have been asking for this one. 5 traits that all men want in their woman. Here we go. Number 1, physical attraction. If you want to know one thing about men, it's this. They are absolutely visual creatures. I cannot stress that enough. A man of quality is going to want a woman who takes pride in her physical appearance. She doesn't necessarily have to be the most beautiful woman in the room, but she is going to be a woman that understands the importance of how she presents herself to the world. Number 2, cooperation. And this one is so simple. If you want a man that's a natural leader, you're going to have to know how to cooperate. He's going to want to see if you can be a partner, if you can be a team player. He's not going to want to fight with you over every single little thing. If you are stubborn, combative, closed-minded, and negative, a man of quality is going to find that extremely unattractive. A lot of us women get into the bad habit of making everything a battle. And if you want a man who is high quality, he is going to have way bigger things on his mind, like running your family in the right direction. He's not going to want to argue with you over what you are going to have for dinner. Number 3, to feel wanted. Don't get me wrong. He wants you to be fully yoked. He wants you to have a life. He wants you to have all of those things. And you can be independent. You can be a boss woman, but just make sure that you're operating in that feminine energy that makes a man feel wanted. He's going to love the fact that you have passions and interests in a life outside of him. But you have to remember that a man's natural state is to be a provider and to be a protector. And he's going to want a woman that makes him feel like he has room to do that in her life. Number 4, and y'all are not going to like this one. Accountability. Yeah. Harsh truth. We don't have any problem telling a man the 152 ways that they are wrong. But when the tables turn and it's our turn to be accountable, a high-quality man is going to want to see that you know how to do that. Can you apologize? Can you hold yourself accountable? For some reason, for us women, it's so hard to acknowledge when we're wrong and to say that we're sorry. But a high-quality man is going to want to see that you can do that. It goes back to being a good partner. And number 5, last but not least, I hint at this one all the time, so I'm going to speak on it now. Feminine energy. I know for some reason whenever people talk about masculine energy versus feminine energy, it gets so controversial, and I really don't understand why that is. It's honestly very simple. Your grace, your class, your poise, your confidence, your nurturing, compassionate energy. If he's really looking for a wife, he's going to want to see a woman who can bring the qualities to the relationship that he naturally as a man cannot. Now here's the thing, and this message goes to men and women. It is not fair to go out into the dating market with a full list of all of the things that you need in a partner when you don't really know the first thing about what your partner is going to need from you. Relationships are a two-way street. And if you want to find and build a relationship that lasts the test of time, you're going to have to care about your partner's happiness and their needs just as much as your own.
Many women claim they want a high-value man but are unwilling to meet the necessary standards, like staying a virgin until marriage. Being married to a successful, self-respecting man doesn't mean a free lifetime vacation. It involves hard work, such as preparing 3 meals from scratch 6 days a week for the entire family. While these boss women see this as slavery, they have no issue being a personal chef for a wealthy family 7 days a week for $50,000 a year.
Cancel culture has gone too far. As of today, Victoria's Secret angels are canceled. Hot chicks who work out and take care of themselves and eat well, that's offensive now. I'll tell you why this one really pisses me off, other than the fact that, I've aspired to be as confident as those women my entire life. I would look at them and be like, I want to be able to strut around in my underwear and some giant wings and be like, I'm here, bitch. That's confidence. It's the nonsense of it. You don't have to be inclusive when you're the best. We don't go watch sports games to watch everyone be inclusive. Here's Joe's dad on first, Mike's mom's on second. We're being inclusive. We want to see the best in humanity. We want to aspire to something. And if we're going to play silly logic, as seems to be happening, why, if everybody is beautiful, are those girls' bodies not beautiful? R.I.P. Victoria's Secret.
Just as men hit the gym to achieve the physique of bodybuilders, women once aspired to be fit and slim. However, with feminism's influence on media, this aspiration has been overshadowed by new ideals. Not everyone can or should be a model, athlete, or rocket scientist. Providing false reassurance and sugarcoating the truth ultimately does more harm than good. It sets people up for unrealistic expectations and failure in life.
I say this with my chest, there are far more women struggling to find love in relationships than men. Yes, I agree, bad men exist, but these men are created, not born. And I'll tell you what's causing this. Toxic feminism. What feminism does is simultaneously teach women to detest masculine traits in men, but cultivate them in themselves. So for instance, a man that cheats is trash, but a woman who cheats is a bad bitch. Or a man that sexualizes women is misogynistic, but a woman should sell her nudes online and she's a bad bitch. But the biggest problem with feminism is that it makes women reject their feminine traits. So they no longer want to be loyal or nurturing. As a result, we're breeding a generation of men who no longer aspire to provide, protect, and most importantly, respect women because they can access them and replace them. So yes, men are struggling to find love, but it might be because this generation of women is not what.
Why do feminists sell their nudes in the first place? Thought they don't need no man to make money, and that they want men to stop sexualizing them. All these feminists talk about breaking the glass ceiling only for women to revert back to one of the oldest professions and become digital strippers, which needs no degree.
Yeah, you're right. It was internalized misogyny that made women want to stay at home and care for their children instead of taking on men's responsibilities. And never mind the fact that for poor women, there never was an option to stay at home. They had to work to survive. But really, men had it so good at the beginning of the 1900s. They could work 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, in amazing sanitary conditions, and they got drafted. Amazing opportunities, really.
Bold, so to speak, pussy you sour, never giving credit where it's due, cause you don't like pussy in power. Venom.
You need to leave.
If you still think that the entertainment industry is not trying to indoctrinate your kids, take a look at this clip from Disney Plus's new show, Diary of a Future President.
Let's run through why can't feminism happen already.
Some would say I have it all. An orange grove and a family. But they don't know what I really crave is sweet equality.
And it doesn't stop there. The female characters in the show replace words like hero and history with shiro and herstory. And it's no longer, oh my god, they say, oh my goddess. This goes to show that the forefront of the cultural battle we're experiencing right now is actually children, and there's an entire group of people that is willing to indoctrinate them through children's programming, teaching young women that they are oppressed and living in a patriarchy where they cannot be successful.
I mean a PT bruiser. Dang, little mama, you is such a loser. Okay, you is such a loser. Dang, little mama, you is such a loser.
You know, some women get pissed off that I do men's rights videos, but let me fucking tell you why. I'm not going to say who this person is, but someone very, very, very close to me. His wife just told him last night that she was leaving him. Now, this guy is the best guy. He would give the shirt off his back to anyone. He's always been the primary parent to their daughter so that she could do whatever she wanted to do. He gave her the absolute world. Whereas they've been together for 9 years and his family knows nothing about this woman. It's the most one-sided relationship I've ever seen in my life. And now she's leaving with absolutely no explanation other than to gaslight him into thinking that he didn't do enough. When in reality, she used him to build her confidence back up and then left. I saw him yesterday and I didn't know that person. He's so broken. And that is why I fight for men's rights. Tell me that men aren't abused.
Some men dismiss or criticize women who speak out against feminism, often questioning their motives or accusing them of seeking attention. While such criticisms may have some merit, the focus should be on the message rather than the messenger. Many of these women speak out because they see the negative impacts of feminism on their loved ones' sons, brothers, fathers, or recognize the broader societal issues at play. Even if their motivations aren't entirely altruistic, their voices contribute to raising awareness about the challenges men face and the potential pitfalls of trying to play the hero. Instead of dismissing these voices, we should support and encourage them. Engaging with and amplifying their messages can help counteract the negative effects of feminism and foster a more balanced conversation. What are your thoughts? Share them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. See you next time.